The Alabama Crimson Tide making the college football playoff is the most dependable thing in college football today. The Crimson Tide are the only team which has made the college football playoff in all 4 years of its existence. Clemson has made the playoff 3 times, but Nick Saban stands alone in terms of fielding great teams each season. The public expects Nick Saban to come through to keep the Tide rolling this season and eclipse their regular season win total of 10.5 games. But is that expectation reasonable? Last year, the Alabama Crimson Tide won the national title on an overtime touchdown pass against Georgia in the national championship game in Atlanta. So some people will think that Alabama had the best team in the country during the regular season. But that's not the case. Alabama ran into injuries in its back seven early in the season and was still short-handed heading into the late November rivalry game at Auburn, which it lost decisively. Alabama failed to win the SEC West Division Championship for the first time since 2013, when Auburn similarly defeated the Tide late in the year. However, unlike in 2013, Auburn did not win the SEC Championship game. The Tigers had to play Georgia a second time after beating the Bulldogs in mid-November. Auburn was beaten up, and Georgia was the faster, stronger, and fresher team. The Bulldogs won the SEC, and then Alabama was selected as the 4th team in the 4-member playoff field, which snubbed Big Ten champion Ohio State. Alabama made the most of that piece of good fortune. Given a month to rest and heal, the Tide mashed Clemson in the Sugar Bowl and then beat Georgia to win it all. This year, the Crimson Tide will be better than last season if they can avoid injuries, which last year's team was unable to do. The team is well positioned to improve despite the loss of defensive back Minkah Fitzpatrick, who is a first-round NFL draft selection a week ago, because of the change at quarterback. Jalen Hurts is simply not a great passer. He was able to do well because of Alabama's strength on defense and on the offensive line, but against great teams such as Auburn and Georgia, he was not able to move the ball as well as Nick Saban needed him to. The Tide lost to Auburn, and when Alabama was struggling against Georgia and trailing deep into the second half, Nick Saban made the kind of decision great coaches make. He was willing to put in his backup freshman quarterback because he felt the team needed a spark on offense. In came Tua Tagovailoa, who immediately enhanced Alabama's downfield passing game. The winning play in the national title game was a beautiful 42-yard sideline strike against a coverage bust. Tagovailoa never started a game, but was the right choice at the right time against Georgia. If he continues to play well this season, Alabama will accomplish everything they want to. Auburn was a road game last season, but is a home game this year. LSU was at home last year and will be a road game this year. On the balance, Auburn is tougher than LSU, so Alabama comes off well in that exchange of home and road dates. The Louisville home opener should be easy, with Louisville no longer having Heisman Trophy quarterback Lamar Jackson. Alabama avoids Georgia in the 12-game schedule, but might have to play the Bulldogs in the SEC Championship game, which would be a 13th regular season game. That game could become a loss, but if Alabama gets to 11-1 before Game 13, it will still cover the number. And given the weak nature of the schedule, the Tide should reach that goal, so we'll recommend taking the over 10.5 wins.